way to work. Come on.
He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game.
Let's go! Come get it. You know what it is.
This one is in the history books.
Here we go.
Welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. It is the Steelers bye week, and I am Missi Matthews, joined today with Bob Pompeani, coach, getting the week off as they prepare for the Saints, an extended period of time. So let's look back at the first half of the season, and, I want to go back to training camp, Bob. The Steelers defense, Coach Tomlin put it on them to be dominant, and we did see that week one, and then things started to not go so well.
Right, injuries always play a factor in this, Missy, but there's no question they had the material in place to be a really good defense. We saw that in week one against Cincinnati when Joe Burrow was completely out of his element. Why? Because the Steelers came after him, they intercepted him, they made him look like a very average Joe. And with a healthy TJ Watt, you wonder what this defense could have done. However, the injury took place, there was a drop-off, and the Steelers, quite frankly, were on the field too much early on defensively, and teams took advantage of it.
All right, before we discuss what happened weeks 1 through 4, let's take a look back in our sights and sounds.
All it's been about what they did last year. We know what we can do. We know how good we are. We just got to put that on tape.
He gets the snap. He wants to throw it. Late rush. He throws it down the field. Intercepted at the 30. 25-20. Minka Fitzpatrick goes into the end zone.
Best safety in the league. Stop playing with him.
Burrows hits, the ball is out, and Cam comes up with it. Trubisky out of the eye. Flat pass. Touchdown. Najee Harris off the left side. Beautiful ball taking by Mitch Trubisky. One last shot for the Bengals. Fires for the end zone, and it's caught, and that's a touchdown to Jamar Chase. It's blocked. Kick is blocked, and we have a tie game with 2 seconds left. And here we go again. Here comes the buzz. That kick is long enough, high enough, and it is good! The kick is good! The Steelers survived in Cincinnati. How it happened, it'll take me an hour to tell you.
Don't it feel good?
Yeah.
Nice and slow.
And for the first time ever, the Steelers and Patriots face off in an opener. Late blitz, he throws it long down the field, and it's intercepted by Minka. He turns it to 21. Wow, he took advantage of a mistake by Mac Jones.
You made that look so smooth, man.
Pass will be caught for the touchdown. You gotta be kidding me. From 44 yards up. Looks for the end zone. Touchdown! And that's Pat Fryermuth. And the Steelers are back in it. And they run the sprint draw left side, and Harris turns the corner and then slides. That's the end of the game with the final score. New England defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers 17-14. Shotgun snap, Trubisky being chased. Throws the pass. Great catch by rookie George Pickens.
That was Lisa Modelfi. It's GP now.
Bounces it for the goal line. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. And going to the end zone for the touchdown is Nick Chubb. The swing and ebb of a football game is interesting.
Well, guys, just something to keep an eye on. Kenny Pickett came out with quarterback coach Mike Sullivan when the specialist came out.
Well, here we go, folks. Kenny Pickett on the field for the first time in regular season play. Pickett, second effort. He's in. Second effort got Pickett into the end zone.
Let's go put a job together. Let's go, baby. Hey, let's put one together. We got to put one together. Let's go.
Claypool jet motion, play action fake. Pickett's going to run, get to the goal line, touchdown Pittsburgh. Breece Hall, the running back, gets the call, goes in, they rule a touchdown. What? And that ends it at Acrisure Stadium. Close but no cigar.
Bob, we hear Coach Tomlin say complimentary football so much, and we saw that week one, special teams, offense, defense. You mentioned the injuries, but I think there were high expectations after that game, especially knowing first season without Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, no question about it. They got a win in Cincinnati, just like last year when you're talking about Buffalo. Not many people saw that coming, but they did, and they did it the same way. They got in, made things happen, made it uncomfortable for Josh Allen last year, Joe Burrow this year, and I thought that was a game they could certainly build off of coming home to New England. But after that, I think, again, the defense was exposed a little bit too much because the offense had too many 3-and-outs.
The injuries, of course, losing TJ Watt, that's a huge deal. But, you know, the snap count in Cincinnati, you go into the game against the New England Patriots at home, the end of the game, just that last 6 minutes and 33 seconds where they could not get off the field. They could not get the ball back to the Steelers offense. And I think also Mitch Trubisky maybe playing not to lose the job instead of playing to win. That's something that I think we started to see creep in, especially in that Patriots game, and it carried over to the next one as well.
Yeah, your defense at that point is getting worn out, and they sensed it, I thought, Missy, and they had an opportunity to keep the ball, possess the ball. But again, that's the product of not being able to convert some first downs on offense and make it a little bit easier on your defense. This defense is good enough as long as they're not out there all the time. I think that's true of any defense. And in that Jets game or the New England game, that was the case. They couldn't get off the field. When you can't get off the field, especially to end the game, all they needed was a possession. Just get it back. And they couldn't stop them.
All right, so then they head to Cleveland, a divisional matchup, Thursday night football. I think those two teams play each other so much. Maybe we had a little bit better expectations heading into that one as well. Mitch Trubisky getting a chance to play at home where he grew up, and it started well, but then same things happened.
Right, it started well. And again, getting back to your previous point, I thought in that game, maybe Trubisky's going to let it fly a little bit. There was a lot riding on it. It was a night game, rivalry game in the AFC North, and yet the offense got squelched after a while and made it a little easier on Cleveland. I thought Cleveland without Deshaun Watson, that's happening later in the year, that they would take advantage of Jacoby Brissett, who I give him credit. You know, he's played pretty well. When you got a run game like Chubb and company in Cleveland, I mean, it's hard to stop. He and Derrick Henry are two of the best at knowing they're going to get the football, and yet they're able to convert.
And I think so much, you know, was made about the Steelers' offensive line being new, having a new quarterback as well. In the offseason heading into this, we saw them start off probably not what they wanted, but they did start to get better and better. And then you get to the Jets game, and that's where, you know, what everybody had been clamoring for. You've heard the chants for Kenny Pickett since the preseason games, and it was halftime. Coach Tomlin said he knew in his gut a change had to be made. He wanted a spark, and all of a sudden a new era of Steelers football started.
Yeah, and there was a spark. If he was looking for a spark, he got one. They only had 6 points at halftime of that game, and they really had gotten into kind of a slump in terms of just not much offensive productivity, which again takes a toll on a defense. The last thing you wanted to see was the defense on the field a lot in that game so that the same thing would happen at the end. As it turned out, Kenny did provide a spark with his legs mostly, and there are mistakes along the way that he's going to make, and that's one of the things about being a rookie quarterback. You're going to have to go through the process, learn sometimes hard lessons, and I think that's pretty much what happened subsequently.
All right, growing pains, and we will talk much more about Kenny Pickett as the Steelers' starting quarterback coming up after this break. But speaking of the Steelers' offense, prior to the NFL trade deadline, the Steelers sent wide receiver Chase Claypool to the Chicago Bears in exchange for their 2023 second-round draft pick. The Steelers, though, also acquired from the Washington Commanders cornerback William Jackson III. You're watching the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. Are you 84 Lumber material? Visit 84lumber.com/careers to learn more.
Steelers rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett officially taking over and getting his first start in Buffalo. And welcome back in. I'm Missi Matthews with Bob Pompeani. The start of a new era. You knew it was going to be a hostile environment. You knew what type of team Buffalo had been putting on tape up to that point. What did you make of his first start?
I thought he was very poised in there. That's a tough place to play, as you said, Missy. Not many teams going to Buffalo. They've outscored their opponents so far this year in record numbers. So it was going to be a tough sort of baptism by fire. However, I thought, again, given everything he was faced as a rookie, first-time starter, what more could you ask other than he was poised in the situation? They weren't going to win that game just because Buffalo's defense had been good and their offense is almost unstoppable. So it was a tough way to go, but I'm sure looking back, he will value that experience.
All right, his first start. Let's take a look back at weeks 5 through 8, and we'll break those down for you as well.
Kenny Pickett on the field for the first time, starting a football game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's in his end zone. Pocket collapses. He throws it long down the field, and the pass. Oh, it's caught on the big one. That's Gabe Davis, and he is gone. Gabe Davis, he catches it for the touchdown. You've got to be kidding me. For Kenny, this is, he's hung tough and provided good leadership all the way through. I've seen no head hanging, no sort of got you dauber down. Kid is Pittsburgh tough, and I expect more from this guy. Pickett, shotgun. Back is Pickett. Throws it to the flat. Najee's wide open. He walks in for that Pittsburgh Steelers touchdown. From 6 yards out, wide open, Pickett to Harris. And the Steelers are celebrating Pickett's first career touchdown.
There you go. Hang on to that, baby.
And Mitch Trubisky is getting ready to go in for Kenny Pickett. Oh, there's a man getting off the field late, wide open. Here comes Connor Hayward down the middle of the field. Too many men on the field for Tampa Bay. Who cares? Gets the snap. He's back. Fires for the end zone. Touchdown, Tate Claypool.
Boom, touchdown.
Wow.
Mitch seen it. Oh, a little stop route into some zone coverage. What a great job. He just seen it, man, and he let it go. He sees it, then he does it.
Dumps it off in the flat. And that is Fournette cutting inside a defender, getting to the goal line, and that's a touchdown. And that makes it a 20-18 ball game. They're going to go for it. 2-point conversion. Brady in the gun. Running back to his left. He's back. Fires over the middle. Broken up at the goal line. Yeah! Trubisky coming up big time in relief of Kenny Pickett. Mitch takes the knee, and this place erupts. And that's going to be a touchdown and a walk-in for Raheem Mostert. For Pickens, touchdown, Pittsburgh. Pickett to Pickens from 7 yards out.
One more whack at it. Make it count. Let's go. Come on.
Pickett, he's going to run the ball. He's got room, but he throws it on the run, and it's intercepted at the goal line. And so the Dolphins save a scare.
It's going to be better days. Head high fighting all the time.
And of course, it's Philly fever. The Eagles undefeated. Their best start since 2004. Going to air it out. That ball is coming down to the goal line, and it is caught for a touchdown. So Brown with the trifecta from 39, 27, and now 29 yards, and the route is on with a final score. Philadelphia 35, Pittsburgh 13.
All right, so 4 official starts, full games for Kenny Pickett and the Steelers offense. We've seen them be able to move the ball. It's cashing in and scoring the points. Where do you see the disconnect there?
That's just it, getting closer to the goal line. These drives can be good. He engineers some very nice drives, but you got to be able to convert them. And I think that's when, those defenses in the NFL are good enough to jump at you. They will end drives suddenly. And when you do long drives, I think the Steelers have found out that a lot of bad things can happen, whether it's one quarterback sack, one bad play, a penalty, and they've made their share of penalties, Missy, and those are things that got to be cleaned up. Makes it hard for any quarterback, let alone a rookie.
I think, too, the run game is something when you say, what's the recipe for success for a rookie quarterback? Having a run game to help them out, and that's just not something we've been able to see so far this season. No. And it's frustrating when you go back to what Najee Harris was able to do last year. Yes,
and you saw that. A lot of those yards were created on his own, and so far we haven't seen that. Now, it's a function also of offensive line. They've had some problems there, but you're right. If you look back at Ben Roethlisberger's rookie year, he came into an ideal situation. We've talked about that. When you had a tremendous run game led by Jerome Bettis, you had a defense that was really
Lights
good,
out, yeah.
Tremendous offensive line, all the things necessary, which I think is something that Bill Cowher harped on this week about getting a run game going to take some of the pressure off a young quarterback. It just makes it easier. And I think, more success will come your way. But those are issues that have to take place, I think, before you're going to see sustained success at the quarterback position.
1 win in the first 4 games. The second 4 games they played, 1 win as well. And it was against Tampa Bay. Tom Brady coming back to Pittsburgh for what might be the final time. And I don't think anybody gave the Steelers a chance in this game, mainly because their defense was so depleted, not just TJ Watt, but the back end of it.
And you had a bunch of guys, and this is what I love about football sometimes, or sports in general. You have people you really didn't hear of. They've been here. I think those of us who cover the team know who they are. You see them in the preseason sometimes, but fans have no idea. When I first saw 16, I thought it was Charlie Batch playing defense. I texted him. I said,
shorter.
What happened? You shrunk and you're playing defense. Or maybe you're faster. I don't know, Charlie. But, these are opportunities, and I think he did a great job. Josh Jackson, I think a lot of guys got opportunities to step up, and they were all in on that. Now, it certainly I think helps that Tom Brady wasn't at the top of his game either. He was going through issues.
Right.
And he later explained that did affect his play. Whether it affected it that day, probably a little bit of that, and a lot of the Steelers playing good defense.
All right, so then let's go to the next game in Miami. It's a Sunday night game. Again, I think it was one of those games. You have Tua coming back. They have the weapons. They have the speed. Not that people weren't necessarily giving the Steelers a chance, but you were getting guys back on defense. I think the most frustrating part about that game is that everybody felt like the Steelers could have won it. But again, at the end, not able to do it.
And those are just rookie mistakes. I thought Kenny Pickett, whether it's miscommunication with Deontay Johnson or whatever, that is also a product of not playing a lot together, not understanding what's going on in those situations. So, two bad interceptions at critical times that hurt them. But I also thought their defense, after a slow start, and that slow start is on them as well. I mean, Tua came out and they just moved the ball in the middle of the field, and they fell behind. They don't have the weaponry right now to put things behind.
And with missed opportunities also on the Steelers defense, the 4 interceptions that could have been as well that, may have given Kenny Pickett and the offense another chance. So you go from that game, you go to Philly, similar to Buffalo, good team, tough environment, and that just started off bad and it just kept getting worse.
Well, I thought, it's interesting in that game, I thought the defense was in position to make plays, and they didn't make plays. These are veterans we're talking about, specifically Minkah Fitzpatrick. He wouldn't make that play over again probably ever, but he was in a position to make a takeaway. A.J. Bragan got a touchdown. Then you saw Killer Witherspoon. Again, they're stride for stride, but he doesn't turn to the ball. Those are things that cannot happen in that situation, given the fact that you're dealing with one of the most explosive offenses. And I think Jalen Hurts, you got to give him credit. Those were tremendous throws as well. I know people want to pin the defense, but when you're laying that ball right in somebody's pocket like that, it's hard to defend it. You got to be perfect, and they weren't. And the offense again struggled. You can't score 13 points in the NFL week in and week out and expect to win.
All right, well, now the Steelers sit at 2-6 as they head into their bye weekend. We'll talk about what's ahead after that and also a playbook by Merril Hoge. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. Are you 84 Lumber material? Visit 84lumber.com/careers to learn more.
The Steelers are hoping after their bye week they'll get outside linebacker TJ Watt back in the lineup. Watt's 21-day window was started leading into the Eagles game, and here's Merril Hoge with this week's playbook on what Watt can do for you.
Hi everyone, welcome into the Factor Back Studios for the Acrisure Playbook. Well, the return of TJ Watt. Now that is a big time thing for a lot of people. Fans excited he's going to be back. Coaches are excited he's going to be back. His teammates are excited he's going to be back. The opponent, they're probably not too excited because he's a guy you have to game plan for. And what do you mean by that? What is a guy you've got a game plan for? There's always a guy or two where you got to occupy people to him. Not just one person, two, maybe even three at times. TJ Watt's that kind of guy. So that makes it easier on his teammates. When he's on the field, 2 or 3 guys are looking at him, makes it easier on us. Now let me show you what I'm talking about from that perspective. Game planning. We're going to go to last year to the Tennessee Titans. Now TJ Watt, first of all, right down here. Let's focus on him here. Here's what they do as far as a game plan goes. They have this tight end here, so they widen TJ Watt. Get him further away from the quarterback. So they do that by alignment. They do that for a reason. He's going to chip TJ Watt. The tackle is going to block him. But I want you to watch this guard. Watch his head right after they snap the football. He too is looking at TJ Watt because they don't want him to wreck this play. So they've game planned for this. There's your chip. Tight end is going to release. Got the tackle waiting for him. And even the guard's peeking at him because the center has this block right here. Well, all of this game plan didn't work. He still gets in the backfield. When you can get a guy like that back who makes that type of impact, who draws that kind of attention, it just helps everybody else. But then we can't lose sight of the other things that he does. These are the things that actually impress me more than that I just showed you. This is a run play. Watch how quickly he's off the football. Penetration, #1 killer in the running game, and this is the type of penetration you'd like. Watch as they snap this ball. Look how quickly he's off the ball. He's already dipped here, and he's getting the backfield. He might If he's a little quicker, he might get the handoff before the running back does. But he's in the backfield to disrupt the running game. Those type of plays make him a complete football player. When you get a guy back like this that you have to game plan for, and he brings all of these playmaking abilities to, this defense has already played pretty good without him. Boy, with him back, we'll make this defense one of the better defenses in all of football.
Thanks so much, Merril. Bob, I think at any point of the season, the Steelers would take TJ Watt back, just what he brings to this defense and helps against opposing teams' offense. The good news, though, this back end of the schedule, it does start to get a little bit easier, and you hope with a bye week, the offense starts to click and everything starts to maybe take an arrow pointed up direction.
Right. I mean, TJ Watt, you can't say enough of what he brings. Double teams will go his way, frees things up for other guys on the defense, and all it needs is a little bit of confidence. They have some teams, especially at home, that they can deal with, and if they climb themselves back into this, the one thing I know about the NFL, it always seems to go down to the final week of the season, Missy, with wild card implications, with one extra game, if you get hot. But I think most of the emphasis in the second half is how Kenny Pickett adjusts to a regular role all the way through. I often believe with young quarterbacks, you got to go through this kind of maturation, and it hurts at times, but it sets you up for the following year. And I think that's going to be a big part of what you see in the second half of the season.
All right, getting the wins, stacking wins, and just keeping the fight going, right?
Yeah, just make it interesting on people, and I think they can do that. They start with New Orleans, a home game, a team that can be beaten here, and they're going to have to do that. And it's funny how momentum can change things a little bit. You get some upsets along the way, and next thing you know, all of a sudden you see the light at the end of the tunnel with regard to potentially a wild card. I know that's a big dig out. I know they have a lot of work to do it, but that's how you have to approach this second half of the season.
All right, well, thanks for your time. Enjoy your bye weekend.
Bye weekend? Is there such a thing for us? Are we buying? Are we buying this bye week?
Fun doing this with you as always. Thanks to you for watching at home. This is the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll be back here next Saturday.